My name is Walter Foeman. I'm the city clerk for Clerk Gables. I was home visiting my parents while on vacation, and I noticed there was a job position opening for a senior management analyst in the budget department for the city of Miami. I called, requested an interview, and a matter of a week, I was informed that I had received the selection. Well, my staff has affectionately referred to me as the Rambo clerk because they said I'm not a student of Newtonian physics. I said, what does that mean? They said, you don't think in terms of straight line linearity. So you're multifaceted, and to that end, I'd have to say that's a correct description of me. Over the years, I've been involved in some interesting activities. In 1992, at that time I was in Miami, I was able to draft some legislation, and I became, for the next 2 years, a registered lobbyist for the state. I wrote a resolution calling for a municipal clerk capital equipment modernization trust fund. I took this legislation to the Miami-Dade League of Cities after my commission had passed a resolution adopting same. And I requested to have this legislation placed on the legislative calendar as a priority item. And the Miami-Dade League of Cities included it in the legislative agenda packet. And for the next 3 months during the legislative session, I would go up to Tallahassee, and we lobbied this bill along with the lobbyists for the Florida League of Cities. I like the degree of civic mindedness of our community. They're very much engaged. And getting involved with the community is actually fueled my passions, because in doing so, it helped me kind of articulate the best course of action in terms of how I can link people to technology to process. I didn't want to be a traditional clerk. My passions would have to really drive my interest in wanting to stay here. And in doing that, I became very engaged with a series of projects.
And so it came true?
And it evolved. I formed a Palm Partnership Agreement with Florida International University, and in the area of digital archival preservation. And we generated about 4 projects to date. We have generated 4 projects to date, and there are a couple that are evolving as we speak for future projects. In the manner in which we've been able to tell the story, the history of our city, and that, again, is a collaboration with FIU. We started with the talking book, and I was able to engage the community to get involved with this project. I was able to get 6 writers, who contributed to a 13-chapter book, which kind of focused on Coral Gables between the years of 1925 through 1942. People, places, and events.
And this book is available for sale?
This book is online. You can go to our website, coralgables.com, click on the city clerk, and under the menu you'll see Talking Book.
And it tells the story of various people who live in the Gables?
It tells the story of people, places, and events. You have one chapter on the University of Miami, you have another one on the Biltmore Hotel, the Bahamian laborers who contributed to building George Mary. Yes. The most significant challenge is how do we intertwine with this business improvement process to link people, business process, and technology. So, because what has been an evolving issue over the years has been that, as it relates to the clerks in general, has been the need to find a way to address public access. Florida has the most extensive and broadest public access laws in the country. So without the technology, without the ability to keep pace with the changes in technology, it puts a challenge on us in our ability to provide in a timely and a very correct manner public documents. So we have to find a way to do that very efficiently. We're the coordinator of the financial disclosure process. So we're trying to digitize the financial disclosure process to provide a very transparent way of filing these public documents. Traditionally, we've sent out financial disclosure documents the month before the deadline, but now we want to provide applications online immediately the first of the year, beginning in January. So, and if there's any need for state forms for quasi-judicial boards, for instance, they have to file, for instance, a statement of financial interest form 1. So they will be able to go on with the click of the mouse the state's website and access those documents. For the purely advisory boards, there are certain county forms that are you have to file annually. So they have an option of which county forms they would want to file. So they can have the link to get on and do that online as opposed to just physically submitting those in the mail. The city clerk is the repository of all original contracts and agreements between the city and third party. We have a enterprise content management application, which is called TRIM Contacts. TRIM. Okay. TRIM. For the past 10 years, we've had just an ongoing growth in terms of the number of people who have actually come into our office to get passports. It puts a lot of wear and tear on an already existing old building that we're trying to find ways to decrease the amount of traffic. So having a one-stop shop whereby the public can come in and do every aspect of what's needed as relates to processing passport applications is very convenient to the public, as well as it provides a tremendous revenue stream to us. So I think the advantage lies in just having a facility that is State Department compliant in terms of what we need in order to preserve the First Amendment right and make sure that the most secure travel document is well preserved.